Hey everybody, and welcome back to Tenza Motorsports. Today we are going to be putting some Maxpeedingrod suspension on this BMW Z3. And in another video, we're actually going to be taking it around a track that has been built up here at my cousin's place. You've seen my cousin before. He was one who owned the E36 Death Cart. We ended up smashing that one shortly after putting Maxpeedingrod suspension on it. That had nothing to do with the suspension, obviously. We were pushing the car a little bit too hard, so here's some footage of that. So that was fun. Today, we're not gonna be doing that with this. Funny enough, this is actually the same 2.8 liter engine that was in the Death Cart, but we're just gonna be putting some suspension on it, doing the install on it today, doing the unboxing, showing off what the suspension looks like and how easy or difficult it is to do the Z3 suspension. I've not done one of these before, so hopefully it's not too much different than the rest of the 3 Series that BMW made in this era. We're going to be unboxing it. I haven't actually even unboxed it at all yet. We've been so busy getting prepared for this video that I haven't even checked to make sure there wasn't any like shipping damage on it. So this could be a pretty exciting day. We're kind of just winging it. We are going to get a before test with the car, go around the track before we put the suspension on. We'll put the suspension on it. We'll try to tune it a little bit, and then we'll do laps afterwards, see if anything changes. Before we get into today's content, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, like if you enjoy this type of content. Also make sure to follow us on Instagram, Tenza_motorsports. Do giveaways. All you have to do is be following us on there. Also make sure you're using this code right here. It'll be linked in the description and in the comments. That will give you a discount on your next Maxpeedingrod order. Let's go take a look at the suspension and we'll get it put on the car. Okay, here we are inside the box. Right off the bat, we've got looks like a 3D sticker emblem, Maxpeedingrods, which is cool. And then in here we also have, looks like a owner's manual, product brochure kind of thing. Got some banner wrenches to adjust the suspension and a couple Allen keys here. Removing this, there it is. And these are gonna be the McPherson rear kind of setup where the shock and the spring are separate. The front is a true coilover. That's how most of these kits are. It's hard to find true rear coils for the back. So unbox these real quick. Look at how much nicer this looks compared to like what we were getting even a couple years ago. So pretty standard stuff for doing the suspension on most BMWs. You got your top hat here, 3, I believe these are 13mm bolts on the top, and then you've got a couple down here at the bottom to release the bottom of the strut. So this is actually very similar to the E36s. So pretty simple design here. The only downside to this one is the strut going to be too tall to slip out from underneath here? What is nice is because this is actually soft because the fender comes up with the hood, part of the fender does. Oftentimes when you do these BMWs, it's hard to get the suspension out because it's wanting to hit right here. But I think between this being soft and I think the bottom of the strut actually slides down instead of being collared based on the new ones over there that I'm looking at. This is slightly different than the 46s, which is what I'm normally talking about. The rears are like the same thing, most BMWs. You undo literally like 2 or 3 bolts and the whole rear end falls out. So look underneath here, this is just sitting in there. You got 1 bolt at the bottom of that shock there, and then you got 2 up above. To get at those, you go inside. It's kind of hard to get at the suspension with the stereo sitting here, but you can just barely see right here. You'll pull the carpet back. There's 2 nuts, so 1 and 2. The same thing, I believe these are 13s. You'll pull this off, and the strut will drop right out the back. Any comments or questions, I will direct you to a how-to video. We're just going to be kind of documenting that we're doing this and kind of give you a review of how the car feels initially and how easy it is to tune it. And before we're done talking in this segment right here, I want to talk about the quality of the suspension. Maxpeedingrod has really stepped up their game. This stuff feels so much better. A lot of this you can tell is machined and a lot higher quality than they used to have. And this is not just their cheap stuff. If I remember right, this is closer to like $500 or $600 versus some of their suspensions you can get for under like $300. And this is more of a, we want to be competitive with the ECS tuning suspension, Koni's, BC Racing. other companies like that do coilover kits. Up front, everything looks really good, and we're happy with it before you even put it on. You can see here, that's even nicer quality. Just really trying to compete with some of these other companies. All right, so we have the suspension completely installed. We have had the car on the ground once just to check to make sure that everything looks right. One thing I forgot to mention in this video is that we are actually tuning it for dirt track, more rally look, and so it is fairly tall. This right here, it actually is like only about half that. So it's pretty tall. It was very simple, straightforward install. Again, most BMWs are pretty easy to do. These ones are even easier, where there's no, like, the strut doesn't go into a sleeve. It's actually just bolted to the hub. Makes it super nice. We're now just doing a little bit of fine tuning and we'll get it out on the track. We have already done a lap time in this car. So if you want to see that, stay tuned in a future video. Real quick, what did you think about installing these? And
so we did the Maxpeedingrods before on the death cart before we wiped it out. And these were considerably nicer to work with. Like, these wrenches are superior. The way that they're set up, the quality, they're better than the previous Maxpeedingrods we did. And I've got BC coilovers on the 7 Series and BC coilovers on the red 5 Series wagon. These feel better. Install was easier, nicer, and they actually feel like a better quality product, which is quite surprising. So that's where I'm at. But as far as the installation, this car was amazing, and these were easier to do.
So overall, it took us about 2 hours to do this, and that was with some fine tuning. We're gonna slap the wheels back on it and then go get an after lap time. So again, stay tuned for that video. Thanks everybody so much for watching. Any comments, questions down in the comment section below. Again, if you use this code here, you can get a discount on your next Maxpeedingrod order. These so far have been amazing. I can't really say too much, but the install was nice. The tuning, the setup, all that was very high quality, very similar to suspension you'd see at the $1,000, $1,500 range. In terms of raising the car and lowering the car and like how high and how low you can go, how low, this can go way high. We couldn't believe how much adjustment was in there. One thing before I let you guys go is that if you go really high, you be really careful with the front brake lines because it starts to pull on them. So you might have to get a little bit creative on how you want to keep your brake lines from just kind of flying everywhere or getting stretched too hard. Anytime you go in there, the car's this old, you want to make sure you're changing out your brake lines. So yep, just something I thought I'd tack on there at the end. Thanks everybody again so much for watching. We will see you in the next video.
Okay, this is a fast lap. We're actually, well, it's a quicker lap. And it triggered, so we are timing. So this is Jay's second time ever on the track and his second time ever driving this car for more than half a mile.
Oh, that suspension's gooey. Wow, that steering wheel is huge. It's like driving a school bus.
Yeah, and that, like I said, those are the corners that keep you honest. Got some ABS action there.
Yep, felt that.
Bam!